The story suggests this boy perhaps holds the title of the youngest soldier in World War II, not only joining the military when he was just 6 years old, but the boy was also bravely present at the front lines, crossing trenches filled with danger to supply ammunition to his fighting comrades, disregarding the rain of bombs and bullets to achieve resounding feats. That brave boy's name is Sergei Aleshkov. This is a cinematic work adapted from a true story. So what motivated a 6-year-old child to disregard his own safety and throw himself into such a perilous place filled with traps? The chain of events began 2 days earlier. Lovely little Sergey was sleeping soundly in his house when suddenly a neighbor rushed in and scooped him up. The kind-hearted young woman passed the boy through the window and hurriedly instructed, "Run very fast. Absolutely do not stop." Right at that moment, the sound of bombs roaring shattered the peace of the village, and flames began to flare up violently. The German fascist army had swarmed in to flatten this entire land. Thanks to the neighbor, little Sergei managed to run into the deep forest in time to escape the catastrophe. The tiny figure ran while crying and calling out, "Mom, Mom." He stumbled repeatedly, but still had to strive to run away. Sergei understood that, starting from today, he no longer had a mother. The next morning, while Sergei was washing his face by the stream, the German troops arrived again. The boy panicked and hid in a tree hollow. Fortunately, they did not discover Sergei, but when the child looked up, he saw a python crawling right on top of his head. He tried to cover his mouth tightly, not daring to make any sound. After the group of German soldiers left, Sergei hurriedly picked up the remaining food cans on the ground to dispel his hunger. Just like that, little Sergei wandered alone, learning how to survive in the old forest by himself. When hungry, he looked for wild berries to eat. When thirsty, he drank rainwater from the sky. Occasionally, he even had to face sudden airstrikes. Despite such hardships and misery, the boy still resiliently picked up a tree branch and continued moving forward. Lonely on the journey to keep his own life, the boy became even stronger and more courageous. However, how could a tiny Sergei defeat fainting hunger and exhaustion? He fell to the ground and passed out without knowing when. Fortunately, right at that moment, a few Soviet soldiers scouting in the forest found the boy. They draped a coat over him to keep him warm and quickly brought him back to the barracks. The Red Army doctors held the boy in their arms and took turns comforting and caring for him. When the commander asked where his parents were, Sergei, no matter how tough, could not suppress his emotions and burst into sobbing tears. "Mom, I miss you. Don't cry anymore. It's okay. I am here now." Just like that, Sergei was allowed to stay in this barracks. Because this place was the front line, constantly suffering from enemy airstrikes, to ensure safety, they took Sergei to a military medical station not far away. The commander frequently visited and encouraged the boy. Seeing Sergei show interest in the gun, he removed the magazine and gave the gun to the boy to examine. The boy excitedly said, "I even have a tank. Look, it's on my tummy. With it, we won't be afraid of any enemies anymore." The commander smiled. This little kid was truly extremely adorable. And immediately after that, Sergei became the treasure of the entire barracks. The soldiers frequently came to play and gave many gifts to the boy. Everyone loved him because before stepping onto the battlefield, they all had families and young children. And Sergei was like a little angel bringing warmth to them in the midst of this cruel war. All of them hoped Sergei could stay in the military and everyone would join hands to take care of the boy. The female nurse also came to advise the commander, but the commander showed a very decisive attitude, stating that children do not belong on the battlefield of guns and bullets. The nurse fell silent, because essentially no one belongs in this place. A few days later, Sergei recovered his health and was prepared to be taken to an orphanage to live. Before the moment of parting, the commander gave the boy a wooden gun he had whittled himself. The man who was always steely and decisive on the battlefield, but when facing the boy at this moment, stammered and was speechless. Deep down in his heart, he also could not bear to let Sergei leave. The boy immediately hugged the commander. "I will wait for you to return safely." Hearing the innocent and immature voice of the boy, the commander's heart softened. "Listen, do you want to be my son?" He decided to raise Sergei himself. Just like that, the angel boy was allowed to stay in the barracks. Knowing this news, the soldiers were extremely jubilant. That very night, everyone sewed a tiny uniform for the boy. Draping the uniform over his body, Sergei officially became a soldier. The boy happily spread his arms, running and jumping everywhere. Suddenly at this moment, enemy planes conducted a bombing raid. Luckily, a soldier shielded the boy in time. Sergei hid under the trench, witnessing the atrocity that war brings. When the rain of bombs and bullets passed, many soldiers were wounded. Sergei was worried about his dad, so he asked everyone he saw, "Did you see my dad?" Is my dad still alive? His rapid-fire questions affected the doctor's work. A military medic carried Sergei out, criticized him, and told him not to cause any more trouble. At this moment, the tiny soldier finally realized to what extent war was cruel. Only the united solidarity of everyone could defeat the enemy. The boy went to the infirmary to help the wounded soldiers. An old soldier injured in both eyes took out his letter and asked Sergei to read it to him. The little soldier did not know how to read, but to comfort the old soldier, the boy made up the content in the letter himself. Immediately after, everyone gave their letters to the boy to read. Sergei could not make things up anymore, so he could only sing for them. The child's singing voice seemed to touch the depths of the soldiers' hearts. No matter how severely injured they were before, they did not shed a single tear, yet now they shed tears just because of a child singing. Perhaps war had taken too many things from them. The next day, Sergei mimicked the appearance of an adult, also shaving exactly like a real grown-up. So small and shaving already, kid? I am a little soldier, you know. After experiencing everything yesterday, Sergei became aware of a soldier's responsibility. The boy found his dad and actively asked his dad to assign him a position. The little angel wanted to become a liaison soldier. The commander assigned his son the first mission, which was to deliver letters to the soldiers in the barracks. Can you complete this mission? I will definitely complete it. Holding the envelopes in his hand, Sergei ran straight to the trenches. I have brought the letters. The soldiers immediately ran over to surround him. The boy was like hope, helping everyone find joy in the dark days. With only one last letter remaining, Sergei hid it behind his back and told the soldier who arrived late to dance for him to see. The soldier also happily obliged immediately, and Sergei instantly practiced dancing following the soldier's footsteps. Besides the job of delivering letters, the boy also performed reconnaissance duties. The boy took binoculars and observed the entire barracks meticulously. Suddenly, he discovered a leg sticking out from a haystack. It moved, causing Sergei to panic and run back to report the situation to his dad. The soldiers quickly followed his instructions to find that haystack. To avoid alerting them, they lit a fire to create smoke. Sure enough, 2 German scouts were forced to crawl out. After a brief skirmish, they were defeated. Sergei also discovered a radio transmitter. This time he had achieved a great merit. The commander, after knowing the story, used a father's tone to praise his son, but Sergei appeared unhappy. Why do you treat me like a child? I am a soldier just like the others. Sergei was very humble. The boy felt he was a soldier, and this was also his responsibility. Not long after, the German army launched an attack again. This time the battle became even more tragic and fierce. Seeing the adults hurrying and extremely tense, Sergei felt he could shoulder a greater responsibility. The little angel crossed dangerous trenches to supply ammunition to the soldiers. Even though bombs and bullets exploded loudly in the sky, his expression did not change at all. He considered that a reason to help him be stronger. Sergei wanted to contribute his strength along with everyone, but was scolded by an old veteran who told him to quickly return to a safe place. However, Sergei was still determined not to leave. The old veteran had no other choice but to order the boy. Military orders are immovable as mountains. Sergei immediately raised his hand to salute, then turned around to return to the barracks. At that time, an artillery shell hit, causing the telephone line to malfunction, so the commander could not communicate with the front line. The situation was extremely critical now, so a signalman rushed out. Seeing that, Sergei also sneaked after him. His small hand traced the telephone line to see if there was any break. He climbed out of the trench, his tiny body slowly crawling forward. At that moment, a bomb fell very close to Sergei. Lying still for a moment, he continued the journey. By this time, the signalman was wounded and lying on the ground, unable to move. Sergei hurriedly took his place and asked him how to reconnect the line. Then the boy rolled down into the bomb crater. Just as he poked his head up, Sergei was almost hit by a bullet. The boy quickly connected the 2 broken ends of the telephone wire together. Thanks to that, the command post was finally able to re-establish contact with the front line. The battle situation immediately turned around, and Sergei once again achieved a great merit. The battle ended, and the soldiers began returning to the rear barracks to rest. But while everyone was marching, an explosion suddenly occurred. They had unluckily stepped on a landmine. Sergei was dazed by the sound of the exploding bomb. The commander was fortunate to only be slightly injured, but the soldier who had once carried Sergei from the forest back to the barracks lost his life forever at this place. On the tragic battlefield, you cannot know how many more days you will live, and today could be your last day. One day, while the commander was reporting work to the general, Sergei suddenly barged in and spoke loudly. Sergei Aleshkov is present to accept the mission. Despite having just experienced pain and loss, the kid still showed that he was a professional soldier. The commander told him to go inspect the soldiers' uniforms and equipment. Sergey immediately accepted the order. "Can I handle the violators?" "That's right." So the boy scampered into the ranks. The soldiers all happily welcomed him and lifted him up high. The old veteran took out a box of chocolate for the boy to eat, but Sergey did not consider himself a kid. He seriously executed the order requiring everyone to line up for inspection. The soldiers immediately stood in rows and waited for orders from Sergey. "Whoever has damaged shoes, step forward 1 step." After finishing the inspection, the boy pulled the captain's shirt and whispered, "Do you know how to write?" Just like that, Sergey's mission was completed excellently. The general also commended him for the excellent achievements attained. That evening, he and his dad were on night watch together. Suddenly, the German fascists launched an attack again. Sergey agilely climbed into the trench to hide in time, but the commander was blown away by a bomb and trapped under the rubble. Seeing that, Sergey burst into tears and hurriedly ran over. The boy wanted to push the pile of wood away to save his dad, but how could a kid's strength be enough? So Sergey could only go find people for help. My dad is trapped in the rubble." The captain immediately ordered his teammates to quickly go save the person. The next morning, the female nurse informed Sergey of a piece of good news, which was that his dad was still alive. Sergey shed tears upon seeing his dad on the hospital bed. Not long after that, the little angel accepted a Medal of Honor on behalf of the whole team. In World War II, the whole team had gone through countless difficulties and challenges, but behind them, there was always a tiny figure loved and protected by everyone. The prototype of the boy in this movie is also the youngest soldier in World War II, that is the boy Sergei Aleshkov. In 1942, the 6-year-old boy began joining the Soviet Army. Although World War II was the most tragic war in world history, Sergei always remained optimistic and resilient. He was the hope helping the soldiers firmly believe in fighting against the German fascists. The movie ends here. Goodbye and see you all again.